Hello, good morning.
Good morning.
I'm Noah. I'll be your counselor for today. I just kind of wanted to start off by asking what brings you in and how you're doing.
Um, so my name's Angelica, and I am um a little I can't get motivated to do anything.
Hmm.
And I am starting a new job really soon, and I'm really stressed, and I can't sleep. Um, I can't care for my kids. I have no motivation to do anything at all. Um, so it's really starting to affect my marriage and um, kind of like my life.
Yeah, no, that sounds like it would have a huge effect. Sounds like you're under a lot of sort of stress from different angles at once, too.
Yeah.
Do you want to tell me a little bit more about that?
Yeah. So I have two kids. Um, they're 3 and 5, and they kind of run everywhere. Um, and then I just got laid off, so I had to start a
Hmm.
new job. Um, and that's been really stressful.
Yeah.
Um, so kind of like being pulled like the mom part, right? And then like a new job where you don't know what they're expecting.
Right.
And you have to find like childcare that measures up with your new job.
Hmm.
Um, so it's kind of just like what's more important and what comes first. And I feel like it's just everything. Like, I don't even have a second to breathe because it's just kind of always on my mind. Like, what if I can't do this when I get, my new job? Or like, what if like childcare doesn't work out and now I have a
Right.
3 and 5 year old and, um, you know, uh, so I just feel like I'm being pulled everywhere. And then I have like I'm married, so my husband, he doesn't really help that much. He doesn't understand that like I'm being pulled in so many different directions.
He
So,
sort of expects the super mom thing.
yeah, and it's kind of like it just kind of makes me like not even want to tell him like what's going on in my brain, let alone be able to tell him what's going on in my brain because I feel like he just doesn't understand it.
Yeah. So you're raising two kids, which is a full-time job on its own. You're starting a new full-time job suddenly after being laid off. You're
Hmm.
trying to coordinate childcare. I assume also make sure that the house doesn't burn down while you're not there. And it sounds like you've been having some trouble talking to your husband to get some extra support from him too.
Yeah, yeah.
What have those conversations with him been like?
So they've really kind of just been when I've been like super stressed, and they kind of just end up being like yelling. Um, so I have um really tried to tell him like you don't understand what I'm going through, but then when he asks about it, it's kind of like I just stop there. Like I don't know how to explain in detail the impact it has on me because he sees things differently. Um, I don't know if that makes sense.
How do you think he sees them?
Um, I think that he sees it easier than what it is. Um,
He sort of
like,
sees how it turns out at the end of the day, not everything you had to do to make that happen.
yeah, yeah, like that. Um, so when I try to explain it, it comes out easier too, right? So like working on childcare, um, yeah, I have, take the kids to daycare.
Mhm.
Um, but like there's a stress of like what happens if daycare is closed,
Right.
or like what happens if the kids are sick. Like those are things that like he doesn't have to think about, but those are always on my mind. Um and so that's kind of something that keeps me like, it keeps circling, you know. And
Yeah.
it seems easy, right? Kids get dropped off at daycare all the time, right? Like something's clearly done and simple. um but it's not as simple, because very quickly and very easily it can become very challenging.
Yeah.
um so I just don't think he fully understands like things seem smooth, but in my brain I have to set up for the worst possible situation, you know.
Hmm.
So it kind of he just doesn't understand that.
Yeah. So, and forgive me for trying to summarize things after just a couple of minutes. So it sounds like the kind of two biggest things that you're struggling with here are that sort of internal monologue dealing with the stress of coordinating all of these things and how you're feeling with that. And then the other is trying to communicate with your husband so that he's providing a higher level of support than he is now. Are those kind
Yeah,
of the two big things that are going on at the moment?
yeah, yeah. And being able to like maybe, yeah, better communicate to him, so I'm not kind of just feeling alone.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, it sounds like you're juggling a lot all at once right now.
Yeah.
What do you do for self-care?
um Sometimes I like to read, uh but I don't really get a chance, because I think it's just kind of go, go, go. And by the time that the end of the day is done, I put the kids to bed and then I'm off to bed.
Yeah.
So, you know, yeah, I think for me, self care would have be like doing dishes and having a clean sink. Yeah,
The American dream.
right. So,
Um, uh, a little bit of an odd question. If you were to try and say how many hours a week you worked, not like at your job, but between all of the different things you're trying to juggle at the same time, how many hours would you say you spend at that?
I don't know. Every hour except for sleeping.
So basically, it's just go, 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 16 hours a day, 17 hours a day.
Yeah, yeah. And then, even then, sometimes I can't even sleep. So, it's just, then my mind's kind of circling. So, yeah, they would have to be around there. Yeah,
Does that feel a little unsustainable?
definitely. Yeah,
It sounds like it's time to start looking for some ways to find something that can change there.
yeah, for
Okay.
sure.
Well, we're just about out of time for our session today, but I want to start exploring next time some ways that we can maybe um, look for some solutions, some alternatives, some ways to reduce stress and um, communicate in ways that help sort of share that workload.
Yeah,
Because it really does sound like everything's kind of crushing you right now.
absolutely.
Okay. Well, let's start trying to find some ways through that together, okay?
Okay, sounds good.
Thank you, Angelica. We'll see you next week, okay?
Thank you.